Welcome back to Padel Smash TV, where we cover the biggest stories shaping the world of paddle.
And this week, paddle is moving fast, from coaching and pro teams to celebrity events, brand partnerships, new tournaments, and one big question.
Is Nike the next brand to get into paddle?
Let's get right into it.
First up, the International Padel Federation has officially launched its introductory level coaching program online. And this is a big deal because as paddle grows around the world, the sport needs more than just courts and players. It needs qualified coaches. This shows the next phase of paddle's growth: education, structure, and standards. Paddle's not just growing players anymore. Now it needs to grow coaches.
And that's how you build the right way. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., D.C. is officially getting the first professional paddle team. The Matrix franchise is relocating from Arkansas City to D.C. ahead of the 2026 Pro Padel League season, with 5 North American events expected to start in July. This is another strong sign that paddle in the US is moving beyond private clubs and into real city-based professional sports. Paddle in America is starting to look a lot more serious.
And DC is a major market to watch. Florida's paddle boom continues, and this time the story is Tampa Bay. St. Petersburg is introducing its first 2 paddle courts as part of a major expansion at St. Pete Athletics. This matters because Florida paddle is no longer just a Miami story. The sport is starting to spread into new cities across the state. Miami may have opened the door, but now the rest of Florida is walking through it.
And that's great news for paddle in the USA, where London Premier Padel P1 has added Oysho as a major partner ahead of the tournament debut at Olympia this August. This is not just another sponsor. It shows that fashion and lifestyle brands are starting to see paddle as a premium marketing platform. Paddle is becoming stylish, social, and very, very attractive to global brands.
And when lifestyle brands enter the market, they help push paddle beyond the court and into the culture. Staying in the UK, search interest in paddle has reportedly jumped 121%, putting the UK inside the world top 20 nations for paddle search interest. That is important because search data tells us where curiosity is growing. People are not just hearing about paddle, they are looking it up. They're researching it and trying to understand where they can play. The UK may be one of the next major paddle battlegrounds.
And the data is backing it up. Now, this one brings paddle into a complete different world. Tom Holland hosted the Beer O branded paddle event in LA, with Zendaya also attending. And while this might sound like a celebrity news, it is actually big paddle story. Paddle is becoming a backdrop for lifestyle events, brand activations, and mainstream attention. This is where paddle becomes more than a sport.
Exactly, it becomes a culture. The Cupra FIP Tour is coming to Miami with FIP Bronze Miami at Urban Padel in Doral from May 12th through the 17th. This is another sign that South Florida is becoming one of the strongest paddle hubs in the United States. Miami already has the clubs, the energy, and the players. Now it is building a stronger place on the international competition calendar. Miami is no longer just a club market.
It is becoming a paddle destination. On the FIP circuit, Flavio Abate and Alvaro Montiel are continuing their strong run and chasing a 3rd consecutive tournament win. They have already had success in the Cupra FIP Tour, including events in Cyprus and Mumbai. This is the kind of storyline that proves that there is real depth forming outside the biggest premier paddle names. The FIP circuit is creating its own starts and its own momentum.
That is exactly what the sport needs, right, Jules?
Yeah.
FIP Silver Cyprus also points to a bigger story. The global paddle calendar is packed. In the same window, we are seeing events that connected to places like Portugal, Spain, Argentina, Cyprus, and more. That tells you paddle is no longer growing in just 1 or 2 markets. It is being played, organized, and followed around the world. Every week, paddle feels more global.
And that's how you know that the sport is maturing. Now, let's go to Argentina, the land of steak and great wine. FIP Silver Mendoza brings attention back to one of the paddle's most important countries. Argentina has always been a cultural capital of the sport, producing incredible players, passionate fans, and deep paddle identity. So when an international event lands in Mendoza, it reminds the world that Argentina is still a major part of the paddle past, present, and future. Spain gets a lot of attention, but Argentina is paddle royalty.
No question. One of the biggest player movement stories right now is the reunion of Paquito Navarro and Martín Di Nenno. This is a fan favorite pairing, and anytime a duo like this gets back together, people pay attention. The big question is whether the chemistry from the past can still win in today's version of the game. Everyone remembers what they were.
Let's see if they will last the second time around. Arturo Coello and Tapia are still one of the most dangerous pairs in the world, but reports suggest that they're having their least dominant start since joining forces. That does not mean that they are falling off. It means the rest of the field might be getting closer. And for fans, that's super exciting. The Kings are still dangerous, but maybe the gap is shrinking.
And more competition means more drama. Now, to the business side of paddle. CourtBrain has launched across Great Britain and North Ireland as an open marketplace for racket sports. This fits a much bigger trend. As paddle grows, the tools around the sport are growing too. Booking platforms, marketplace, club software, coaching systems, and player communities. Paddle's not just creating more players.
It is creating a completely ecosystem. And finally, the question people keep asking, is Nike next? To be clear, there's not confirmed that Nike Padel launch it right now. But as more fashion footwear and sports brands move closer to paddle, the pressure builds. Nike already dominates tennis, apparel, footwear, and global sports culture. So if paddle keeps growing as a lifestyle sport, the question becomes obvious. How long can the biggest brand stay on the sideline?
Now it will be one of the biggest stories in paddle.
Yeah. We know that you guys love coffee and talk, but let me tell you that the paddle news has been a massive success, and now we're bringing those two together.
That's right, Jules. So we're going to put our coffee and talk and add that to our news, 10 minutes of these hot topics. And this week's coffee and talk is powered by Lavazza.
So now let's talk about the PPL. I mean, major news. They came out this past week to talk about the new PPL.
So, based on Sports Business Journal, PPL has raised $15 million in their Series A.
Incredible.
I mean, do you think they've already gone through that?
Probably yes, probably not. But
so let's talk a little bit what they're using that for.
Yeah, I mean, this past weekend they had the first ever, paddle draft, where now they pick their own players. Now all these players, they're gonna have contracts, either 1 or 2 year contracts.
So Jules, this has already happened in the PPL 1. So now they have created a PPL 2, kind of like the minor leagues in baseball, where now as PPL first started, it was anybody. Not really the pros, as you remember.
Not really the pros.
Second or third year, the pros started getting in, and those people, the amateurs, didn't have a place to play.
Yeah.
So there's a void there, and so they did the P2. And like I said, it's kind of like the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have the same thing, the same draft and everything. This is focused more on America, and I believe Canada and Mexico. I'm not sure if somebody out there knows that information. If you let me know if that's right or not.
We believe that it's going to be, the PPL2 is going to be players from Canada, United States, and Mexico playing against each other for a spot into the PPL, the PPL 1, let's call it.
So now, Jules, we always talked about, can people make a living off of this?
Yes.
And this gives a good opportunity for paddle players to make a living because the starting salary could be up from $15,000 to $45,000, not including sponsorships.
Which is huge. I mean, plus they have a signed contract for up to 2 years.
That's right.
I mean, compensation now, Mike Dorfman, the CEO of the PPL, is making, this is going to be sort of like the NBA, MLS, sort of like, the NBL. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think? I mean, they're making look more serious and more professional.
I mean, this is a long-term thing. I mean, they're looking at paddle as a serious contender when it comes to other sports like basketball, hockey, soccer, and so forth. So they're building a structure right now. But what's important is that they realize there's a lot of amateur players out there who want to compete.
Yeah.
Right. And this gives them an opportunity also to work hard and actually get to the PPO1. So this is a great opportunity for anybody who wants to compete, who wants to kind of make a living out of it, even at $15,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough to cover your trips, your flights, and so forth.
I mean, it will be interesting. You know, they're coming up with the starting in July. I believe it's first is New York. And they're expanding, you know, with 6 or 7 different tournaments within the United States. The big question here is this: will they be able to get the top players in the world? You know, the Tapias, the Chingotos, the Martito Ortegas to play into the PPL.
Yeah, of course.
We'll see.
They already have that. They have that.
Yeah,
they have contracts already for 3 to 5 years.
I know, but they might be conflicting with the Premier Padel, tour.
I think
how are they going to balance that out?
I think they always adjust and pivot to that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a must. People want to see those players and those names at the PPL for sure.
Yeah.
The PPL2 is just a whole nother vertical, a whole nother business. And I think it's genius. I think there's a void there for it, and there's money to be made. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
I think this is a right move. Now, you know, I'm sure they're going to have to go over Series B, C, and D because this is for 2 years. Is that money enough for that? I mean, this is a big step, a huge step for paddle here.
I mean, one of the things I have on their contracts is that when you sign that contract, you're obligated to play all PPL events. We know they're playing in Playa del Carmen in Mexico, Guadalajara. They're going into the United States. So it's going to be all over the North American continent.
Yes.
So that's going to be an interesting format. How the players going to going to play with it against each other and with each other, and then how the PPL 2 is going to blend into the PPL.
That's a good question. But they're going to apply the same thing as the PPL1 when it comes to the draft.
Yeah.
You know, which is something that the Americans here are familiar with. Something that they see all the time. It's also exciting too to watch, who's drafted where. So this is really, really exciting. I'm really happy it's going in this direction. It was a little bit of a surprise. I think other people were trying to do it on a smaller scale. But this one is, man, there's money there. There's prize money. This is great.
I mean, let's go back a little bit on back in the history of PPL. Remember back in the day when they play here, they were all local players and all that. Nobody was paying really attention.
But they loved it.
Yeah, they loved
it.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't get much audience, which is beginning and all that. Then they move, remember when they play in Ultra, that they play for 2 straight weeks. The players were exhausted.
Yeah.
And then suddenly
that was prior Mike Dorfman.
Yes. Then right after that, Mike Dorfman, the CEO, stepped in, purchased a big stake on the PPL, and restructured the whole thing. And I think last year was superb. I think it was outstanding. Bringing Spain into the calendar, Mexico, and all that.
It's very simple. It's resources.
Yes.
Right. Capital.
And you got to be smart too.
And structure. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what he brought. That was needed in the PPL.
And this year they're bringing up another step up where they had a draft. They're bringing the North American players, the professional players, all under the same structure.
And that draft happened last week.
Yes,
which was amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So the difference here is that they're getting paid, right? So they have to prioritize this tournament. Unlike, other, say club league tournaments, or 6 Love or 8 Sleep or USPA, they're getting paid here. So they have to prioritize on this and it's non-exclusive. So I think this is a win-win for everybody.
I think it will be great. The big question here, I think it is, will the PPL allow the second tier, FIP players. All these young guys.
Mhm.
They're not playing on the top. They're not in the 50 or
Right.
50
Top 50,
rank,
right.
top 50 and all that. But they're like 100. They're playing in Mumbai, in Thailand, in Indonesia. Will they let them come in because they're outstanding players, but they're not at that level. They're trying to get to that level.
Or a better question is, remember A1?
Yeah,
That was American based, but in South America.
yeah.
If South America going to be able to play in this league, are those people now going to come back and join this?
Yeah.
The competition is going to be fierce. Is the same thing going to happen as when they did the PPO1, where the locals were playing and then the better players came and then they were pushed down?
I mean,
is the same thing going to happen now in PPO2, where the A1 players are going to come after the second year and then they're going to be kind of pushed down? Will there be a PPO3?
Yeah. I mean,
You know?
let me tell you that this past weekend I was watching 2 FIP tournaments. Unknown players, but let me tell you, the level was outstanding.
Yeah.
Actually, Livac and Chosas were playing there with these 2. I didn't know these players, Argentinian players. They were outstanding. They were playing, toes to toes against them. So I think opening the door for that, that second tier players worldwide, I think will be great for the PPL.
Because there's money here involved. Because some
Yeah.
of those other tournaments, they're not really getting paid.
Yeah.
They're not getting paid. So they're going on their own money, flying, and just because they love it.
Yeah.
This is going to pull a lot of great players here. you know?
Stay tuned for more PPL news.
And that is this week's Global Padel Rundown.
From coaching and professional teams to celebrity culture, new markets, technology, and major brand interests, Padel keeps expanding in every direction.
Let us know which story you think matters most this week.
And make sure you like, subscribe, and follow Padel Smash TV for more coverage from inside the world of paddle.
We'll see you in the next one.
From Miami to the world, this is Padel Smash TV News.